Chat, it is now time. Put on your judgment hats. I'm allowing chat to be super duper judgy for just a little bit. Am I the asshole for ruining the family vacation by refusing to go to dinner after my husband laughed at his cousin's joke and telling him to take his mistress instead? I found out after we were already married that it's very common for the older generation of men in my husband's family to keep mistresses as long as they're discreet about it and don't have any outside babies. Okay, I see a big red flag right now. I'm sorry. They said it is very common for the older generation of men in my husband's family to keep mistresses as long as they're discreet about it and don't have any outside babies. We went on vacation with my husband's family, including his sister, cousins, and their spouses. My sister-in-law needed to get some new clothes because she was supposed to leave earlier than the rest of us, but decided to stay. While we were shopping, the shop assistant was flirting with my husband. His cousin, James, made jokes about adding her to my husband's collection of girls in every country, and how he always said a leopard never changes his spots, and he knew marriage couldn't stop my husband. My husband and his other male cousins thought it was the funniest thing ever. I didn't find it so funny, and neither did his sister, who told James to shut up. In the evening, we were supposed to go for dinner, and my husband noticed I wasn't getting ready, so he asked me to hurry up. I told him I didn't want to go. We had an argument where he was saying James was just joking. I told him I didn't find it funny, and he could take his mistress to dinner instead. Why? He kept insisting he didn't have a mistress and that James was just making a dumb joke, and he was sorry for laughing, but I refused to budge. In the end, none of the other girls went to dinner with them. We all ended up going somewhere together and wouldn't let them come with us. For the rest of the vacation, my sister-in-law insisted we would treat it like a girls' trip, and the boys could do whatever they wanted without us. My husband was pissed at me for overreacting to a joke and ruining my family vacation. Especially since James apologized too, but things didn't go back to normal. Was I the asshole? Now, this is a little multi-layered, because he found out that the older generation of men in her husband's family actually did keep mistresses, but if it's not actually true, maybe it wasn't a funny joke, but if it's not actually true, why react like this to it? I'm gonna go with she's the asshole, and I'm gonna say she's the asshole because he apologized. He apologized for the joke. It wasn't that big a deal. They could have kept the whole entire family trip. If it's supposed to be a together thing, they should have kept the trip going. She's the asshole. That was easy. Next. Am I the asshole? I told wife that 10-year-old daughter was more mature than her. Oh boy. My wife and I went to an Ace restaurant today with our 10-year-old daughter. My wife has this bad habit of ordering too much food at restaurants and then not eating it fully. A lot of the times, the restaurants do not allow doggy bags, so the food gets wasted. That seems wrong. Like, you should be able to, like, get a box for your food, but I don't know what Ace means, so I don't know what that means. So I decided to take her to an Ace today because she'll be able to take only... Oh, and all you can eat. Ace, all you can eat. She started piling up a lot of food on her plate. I told her to add lesser portions and finish all the food. She said she'd finish all the food because she was really hungry. I kept quiet after that. My daughter, on the other hand, was taking a little of each dish to taste and then deciding which one she wanted more of. I appreciated her for being so mature. As expected, my wife wasted nearly half of the plate she had so enthusiastically filled, and the manager told us we'd have to pay extra for the food wastage. Yikes. I didn't want to tell my wife anything at the restaurant, so I just paid the bill when we went back home. After we put our daughter to bed, I told my wife that she acted very immature at the restaurant, and our 10-year-old daughter had the sense to gauge her own hunger. My wife told me she was really excited to see so many varieties of food that she liked, and she couldn't control herself. Am I the asshole? There's a PS. Wait a minute. I do all the chores because she doesn't like to get her hands dirty. We live on only my salary. She doesn't ever pay for food or groceries despite earning more than me. Huh? She thinks the man should be the one paying for everything. What? Initially, wait. I think if you agreed to this relationship, that's on you, buddy. You knew what this was when you got in it, all right? She thinks the man is the one that should be paying for everything. I gotta say, you probably knew that when you got with her, all right? You probably knew that when you got with her. So it really was not necessary. Though I don't agree with it. But my point is, could that have been a bait? How do you have a 10-year-old daughter with this person and you don't know that they want the man to pay for everything? Could that be a bait? That's a long ass bait, man. That's a really long bait. So I'm gonna disregard the edit, okay? And I'm gonna say they're both assholes. They're both assholes. All right? They're both assholes because he added in that edit. I think he did it for sympathy. You know? I think he did it for sympathy. But you're going to an all-you-can-eat buffet. You know you can't eat that much food. This seems habitual. All right? Why are you wasting food? I can't. I come from a Spanish family. We don't waste food in the house. You serve yourself a plate, you're going to eat that shit. Your stomach's going to hurt later. But you're going to eat all that food. You're going to eat all of that. You served it, you're going to eat it. That's how that's going to work. If she knows herself enough to know that she usually wastes food, first of all, on the basis that she wasted food at all, she's the asshole. Stop wasting food. All right? But having that foresight to know that she does that, okay, knowing damn well that they're not going to give her a box because she's at an all-you-can-eat buffet, and that's literally stealing, I think they're both assholes. He's asshole for adding to the story, and she's an asshole for not fucking knowing when to stop, all right? The Hispanic in me does not allow this, all right? The Latino in me does not allow this. They're both assholes. We're in agreement. They're both assholes. I'm leaning to him being an asshole just because he edited for sympathy. I'm unsympathetic, you son of a bitch. You're an asshole too. Next. Am I the asshole for telling my ex's family the reason we won't be getting married despite having a child together and getting him in trouble? Really? Oh, this is well, how do the people on Twitter say it? It's the T. Please, just strangle me if I say that again. Okay, so I dated my ex for 3 years and found out he didn't think I was good enough to marry, but I was good enough to keep on the side. What? Okay. Looking back, I should have realized since he never introduced me to his family, they live in a different country, so I let him use that as an excuse, and our relationship was more sex than anything else on his side. I found out because I asked him what would happen if I got pregnant one day, and at this point, I already knew I was pregnant, and he told me that would ruin things. He was blunt and said that while he loved me, he couldn't marry me, but things between us didn't need to ever end. I broke up with him on the spot and blocked him on everything when he tried to convince me to come back. I still hadn't told him I was pregnant, and I had no intentions of telling him until the baby was born. How are you going to keep that away from him? Like, how? It's not like he can't, if he sees you, it's not like he's going to be like, wow, she just gained a lot of weight in 9 months. That was really fast. Pregnancy is pretty obvious, I think. My plan didn't work out because he found out when I was 6 months. No kidding. No. Really? Okay. Our son is a year old, and since my ex found out I was pregnant, he has been trying to convince me to marry him. We took our son to visit his family this month. Okay, so you went with him. You said that you blocked him on everything, and now you went back to him. Okay, I shouldn't start judging with... I'm not judging yet, okay? His family has been very nice, but they are also of the opinion that us getting married would be the best thing for our son. His grandfather asked me yesterday why I wouldn't marry him, considering he could give me and our son everything we could ever want. So I told him what he said to me. They weren't happy with him, and after I left the room, they told him off. Now my ex is pissed at me for dragging his family into our issues, and because I won't let go of his past mistakes. Am I the asshole? Woo! I feel like I'm not qualified. I feel like this family needs therapy, and I'm unqualified to judge. But I'm going to disregard that and try my best to judge the shit out of them right now. So, let me say, she went back. For some reason, she went back, and I wouldn't call her an asshole for that. I wouldn't call her an asshole for that. I would call her maybe a little dumb, but not an asshole. What is she supposed to do? She could do whatever she wants. She's an adult. She could do whatever she wants. All right? She doesn't have to get back with the idiot that said that getting her pregnant would ruin everything. She doesn't have to go back to him. She could go find a responsible man, and she could figure that out. That's all I'm saying. Okay? She could go find a responsible man, and she could have him, you know, take care of her the way that she wants to be taken care of. I think we can all agree, chat, okay, that this guy is the asshole here. Let's get that out of the way. She's not the asshole. He's the asshole. I think the guy should be a part of the kid's life, but he doesn't have to. It's like she doesn't have to go back and visit his family. I mean, she called him her ex for a reason. Moving on. Am I the asshole for telling my mom she will no longer be allowed to see her granddaughter? That is deep. That is tough. All right, here we go. Ever since I, a 24-year-old female, was a kid, my mom has done nothing but criticize my weight. That has long-lasting effects on people. It really fucks you up. Made comments every time I ate, weighed me constantly, literally went to school to tell them to make sure I never ate candy or treats or pizza. What? I don't want to be biased, but mom seems like the asshole already. I'm not even gonna front. And even praised me when I subsequently developed an eating disorder as a preteen teen. She's the asshole. The mom is the asshole. I'm sorry. Girl doing this is not the asshole. Easy. I don't even have to read the rest. The mom is the asshole. We don't. Chat, who's the asshole? It's not her. I think it's mom's the asshole. We agree? One in the chat if you agree. We agree. Grandma is the asshole. And will die old and lonely. The end. I don't have a hammer, but I just slammed my desk. Am I the asshole for refusing to help with the brother-in-law's house? Okay, this is like a freaking essay. All right? I know that Reddit is like strictly text for the most part, but like you don't have to write down like a fucking straight up book about this. I'm a pretty handy guy. My dad had a home remodeling business, and I worked for him all through high school and college, and even some after that when he was really busy. My wife, Susan, and I basically renovated our whole house during lockdown. My wife has a very bad habit of volunteering me to help people without asking me first. We have fought about this in the past, and I have told her I will not do it in the future. Damn. Okay, so I see a problem. Susan. My wife sells real estate, and she had been looking for a house for her brother Paul and his family. The housing market here is insane, so finding something they can afford has been a real challenge. In late August, my wife announced she finally found a place and wanted me to take a look. Susan talks about what a great deal the house is because it needs a little work. The house is a mess. There's a ton of work, including redoing the kitchen and bathrooms, fixing drywall, and a lot more. I asked him who he was going to get to do the work, thinking I could recommend some guys that used to work with my dad. Susan and Paul look at each other, and then she says that she is sure the two of you can do it. Well, first of all, me and him would mean me, as Paul has no home improvement skills at all. I just said, no way. Paul asked me what I meant, and I told him that there was a ton of work that needed to be done, and I wasn't signing on for it. I'm not spending every weekend for months working on someone else's house. Susan and I argue about it, but I refuse to budge. Susan says, fine. If I won't help, then she and Paul will do it themselves. That should go swimmingly. I should say that while Susan did help with our renovation, particularly things like painting, I did the bulk of the work. I know my wife, and I know she is thinking that I will end up giving in and helping. I warn her that I mean it. I'm not helping. She says she and Paul can do it. Paul buys the house. Well, it goes about how I expected, meaning very badly. They had estimated it would take 2 months to make the house livable enough for the family to move in. 6 weeks in, and they have made little progress on the meat of the house. My wife is getting more and more irritated at me. I never bring up the house, and I refuse to engage when Susan brings it up. I am taking next week off of work, and I told Susan I would take care of our house and kids. Typically, we split up chores while I was off. She hit the roof. She told me that if I was off for a week, then I should be helping with her brother's house. She brought up that they had 2 weeks to make it livable, or he was going to have to pay both the mortgage and rent for his apartment, and he can't afford that. I replied that I told her from the beginning that I wasn't helping, and I meant it. My wife is now not speaking to me since. According to her, I hate her family. This is a hill I am willing to die on. This man is serious. However, I know that her brother is the one that is going to get hurt. Am I the asshole for refusing to help? Yo, okay. I think it's pretty clear as day that our boy is not the asshole here. He made it clear that he's not gonna do this. He made it clear that he does not want to be volunteered for anything. His wife and him have fought about it, and she did it anyway. This man said, this is a hill I am willing to die on. My man's about to get divorced over not helping. He's not the asshole. His wife should have thought about this beforehand. I think that is pretty crystal clear on this one. Case closed. I think everyone agrees that that guy is not an asshole. He's getting volunteered. Someone is volunteering his time. But Q gave me the claim, this asshole is in the Hall of Fame. It's so ridiculous that I gotta believe it was a troll originally. So this should be good. Am I the asshole for ruining the rice that my boyfriend cooks with by consolidating the multiple bags of rice, which he claims are different, into a single container? Okay. I, 26-year-old female, moved in with my boyfriend, 23-year-old male, earlier this year. He is kind of disorganized, so I tend to have to tidy things up a lot. He often complains that I misplace his things, but it's really just his lack of organization more than anything. He keeps telling me to stop moving his things around, but we live here together, so I don't see why I should stop doing that. All right. Already the asshole. Gotta say. Anyway, he happens to be the one who does most of the cooking, and I'd say he's pretty good at it. One thing that does bother me is that he keeps multiple huge bags of rice in the kitchen, which he claims are different types of rice. But I look at them and they're all just the same white rice. I told him that he should put it in a proper container, but he insists that it's just fine the way it is. But the thing is, I don't think that it's fine the way it is. So yesterday, I decided to consolidate all of the rice by getting a huge tub to put all the rice in. I dumped all 3 bags in there and put it in the pantry. When I texted my boyfriend and told him where I put the rice, he completely freaked out and said that I ruined the rice. He texted me that I can't mix basmati rice with jasmine rice, but it's all just white rice. I don't see how it's any less edible. When he came home, he just started yelling at me, and it was really hurtful because I was doing him a favor. Am I the asshole here? If you do this, we're breaking up. I told you not to touch my shit. Then I told you not to touch my rice. I don't know if this is real, but this person is definitely the asshole. This person is the asshole for just making me read this. The fact that it exists on the internet in readable form. Definitely the asshole. Basmati and jasmine require different amounts of water and cooking time. You ruined his rice. You're the asshole because you were specifically told that the rice is different, but for some reason decided that your boyfriend was lying and didn't consult him before you mixed the rice. Yeah, damn right. Are you kidding? This reads like it was written by your boyfriend trying to show you're the asshole. Why don't you also mix all the different sizes of pasta or types of cereal? Oh my god. I'm like, homeboy did a write-up for his girl, then showed her all the replies. You don't mess with a man's rice, man. You just don't, chat. You just don't. Okay? Let's do 2 more. Am I the asshole for not letting my boyfriend take $150 an hour tennis lessons? $150 tennis lessons. An hour? $150 an hour? Good lord. My boyfriend and I are in our early 30s. We've been together for several years, but he doesn't want to get married. So I found out that he apparently has decided to take tennis lessons. I figured, all right. I didn't think they'd be overly expensive. Well, I looked at the bank statement, and he's apparently had 4 4-hour sessions that cost us $2,400 total. Now, let me clarify, we are not rich. He doesn't understand why I'm mad, and he says that if he had a job, I wouldn't care. Wait a minute, he doesn't have a job? Okay. And I guess in a way he's right, but I'd still be uncomfortable with it. He says he enjoys it. There are a lot of things that you can enjoy for motherfucking free that you could enjoy, okay? You ain't got a job? You trying to pay $150 an hour tennis lessons? You ain't got a job? It's hard not to be biased with these stories. But it's $150 an hour, and for some reason, they're 4 hours long. That's $600 a session on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's ridiculous. Am I the asshole for saying my boyfriend couldn't take tennis lessons because I can't afford them? I know it sounds silly. I just know that behind this keyboard, she's like, of course I'm not the asshole. He's being absolutely ridiculous. But I think I may be, since I only really care because it's my money he's using, and you should care, and we're supposed to be partners. He proposed, but there's no paper, since he didn't want that. But it just rubs me the wrong way. And I did tell him he could spend money like it was his own, but this sort of contradicts that. As for the what is he contributing questions, he does literally everything at home. I mean, every single chore you can think of, from cooking to taking out the trash. There's absolutely no household task that hasn't already been done when I'm home. It's kind of amazing, honestly. From dishes to mopping to grocery shopping to fixing the steering box on my car. No, I am not 100% sure they're tennis lessons, but that's what he said, and I trust him. I'm not going to be giving him money for the tennis lessons anymore. And thank you for all the people that took time to comment. Yeah, we already judged. It's still not worth $2,400. No, man. Dude, you don't even know if it's tennis lessons. $600? He says it's $150 an hour, and for some reason, it's 4 hours long every time. Yeah, it doesn't even matter what the hell it is. It's definitely way too much. It doesn't matter how many chores he's doing at home. Okay? The whole spot could be squeaky freaking clean. But if you don't know what your man is doing with your money, you don't even really know if it's tennis lessons. Like, you gotta, you know what? If you're gonna let this happen, motherfucker, you better be like checking on his BMI like 3 weeks from now. You know what I mean? You better be checking his. Yo, you losing weight? You've been at those tennis lessons for 4 hours. It's been 3 weeks. I don't see you changing. But I see the house is still squeaky clean. Why is your eye twitching? These are drugs. You know what I mean? Not the asshole. And I did tell him he could spend the money like it was his own. That was a poor choice of words, but it is clear he does not give a hoot and only thinks of himself. Time to reconsider your relationship. Also, who teaches those $150 an hour tennis lessons? Federer? These gotta be tennis players. Yeah, that's what I probably butchered his name, but you know, the way you said Fed's name just now broke some hearts. Leave it to the YouTube comments. I fixed this dude a breakfast croissant. Babe, I need a $600 for glowy lights that people can change using the fake monies in my chat. Stop butchering the word croissant. Sounds right to me. Okay, last one for today. The French gave up pronunciation rights on a croissant when they sold the recipe to Burger King. Damn. How to say... Okay, hold on.
Croissant.
Someone should fix this pronunciation. This is wrong. Someone needs to fix this.
Croissant.
Croissants.
Croissant.
Croissants. I feel like I'm saying it right. Say chassis. We figured that one out, Coco. Because what I said was chassis. Because I'm pretty sure I heard it somewhere else, but, you know. Last one. Are you ready? Am I the asshole for reminding Dad his business went bankrupt? Yikers. Okay. My dad used to run his own business when I was growing up. It went bankrupt when I was 17. Damn. My dad was a terrible manager who wanted to look rich rather than run a profitable operation. We had to sell our house. My sister had to switch schools. It was really difficult for a while. I started my own business a few years ago. It has been doing okay. We're profitable, cash flow positive, and have a viable avenues to invest our cash flow. I have a few senior management positions to fill. He has been pushing me to hire one of his old friends. The guy looks good on paper, but I talked to a few employees who worked under him. The verdict is that he is brilliant, but he is arrogant, very critical, and some of the women who worked under him said harsher on the woman working under him, and they had to work really hard to earn it. I just had a stroke like reading that. They had to work really hard to earn his respect. I really don't want to hire him. I instead went with someone with less experience but glowing review from subordinates. My dad found out that I had hired someone else, and he went on a rant. He called me names, told me that I was making a huge mistake and I needed someone experienced to manage the business. It really pissed me off, and I reminded him that his business went bankrupt, and I really don't need his advice. My dad is really hurt. His business failing is a very sore spot for him. He feels a lot of guilt about it and not being able to provide for his family. My mom thinks I'm rude, and I just have let him rant, and I should have just ignored it. I think I should have done that instead of snapping at him and hitting a sore spot. Is he the asshole? So, I think in this one, I'm a little bit conflicted. But only because, okay, the guy is running his own business. His dad gave him some advice. He said no. And then his dad went on a rant about it. Should he have pointed out that his dad went under trying to live the dream? That's kind of messed up. I think OP is the asshole here. But I also think that the dad should have accepted that his son, is hiring people for his son's business. Like, his son is taking on the risk of the business. So after the dad makes the suggestion, he should have just taken the no, I think it was mean to point out something that the dad was trying to do to help the family. You know what I mean? Like, the dad was busting his ass and the business went under. That sucks, but your dad was doing that for you. Definitely, this guy needs to go apologize, because first of all, his dad is still in his life. Period. You know what I mean? Like, his dad is still there. He has both his parents. You don't, if you know that this is a super sore spot for your dad, and now you have a running business that your dad couldn't have, I think that you should appreciate that your dad wants to be a part of that with you. Give him a good reason as to why you didn't hire the guy that he suggested for you, and then move on. What is it? Why would you get under his skin and say something like, "Oh well, why are you telling me about that? Why are you getting on my back about it? Didn't your business go belly up?" I think this guy's an asshole. You, Deep Gene, user Deep Gene, you are the asshole in this. No ifs, ands, or buts, I think. He probably said this without thinking about it. I think that he's the asshole. Chat. I think chat agrees. If your dad had your family all over the place at 17, your sensibility of when and when not to snap might not be regulated, right? I will say, I think both assholes. I would say both assholes. Because we don't know what names he was called. It doesn't mean that he should be calling anyone names. But you don't go for your dad's sore spot. You know what I mean? Like, you know your dad feels bad about it. I think that they're both assholes. Okay? My last... This is my final verdict on this. I think they're both assholes. Dad should not have, flipped on his son. Son should not be poking at something that the dad was doing to help the family. Or they can just fight about it like children. I think they're both assholes in this case.